So Season 11 is finally here and I have some things to say about it. I recently dropped a video on my TikTok talking about my thoughts on the new season, which stirred up a little bit of controversy. But I do want to highlight the good of this season while responding to the staunch shills who think nothing is problematic in this game. In short, there's nuance to be found somewhere in the middle. Starting off with frankly an amazing change, Sojourn finally got nerfed. At least for pro play, if you've been watching the qualifiers for the Esports World Cup, you'd see a whole bunch of different DPS heroes being played, but what you won't see is Sojourn. If you live under a rock and don't know what happened to the character, she got a buff to her SMG with an increased fire rate and overclock charge. In exchange, her railgun essentially had 30 damage chopped off it. This basically nullifies the reason as to why anybody is playing Sojourn in the first place. I do think they went a little bit overkill with it. I probably would have cut 15 or 20 damage off instead of 30, but I'm happy regardless. Average players shouldn't really care about this too much because they were never hitting their railguns to begin with, and hey, now they get more railguns due to the faster fire rates. It's probably the best change this patch, to be honest, and yes, the devs are late to this, but as the saying goes, better late than never. The Kiriko Nerf was also good too. Yes, cooldown nerfs aren't usually that impactful, but when you start considering that the way you punished Kiriko was forcing her TP, then chasing and killing her afterwards, that extra second gives a much bigger window to punish her for bad TP usage. I still want to see the range in it decreased. I mean, I've been calling for that for months, but this will do. The Suzu change on Shatter is also a nice quality of life change as well. Quick plug, but if you want to get my coaching, check the top link in my bio and shoot me a DM on Discord. Even Spyler referred me as being one of the best affordable options out there. So, if you want to climb fast, you know where to go. Skins are always subjective, and I'm gonna be real, I'm not a massive fan of the Battle Pass skins. But I'm mainly putting this in the good section because of the Pink Mercy return skin. I'm sure many of you have seen Moneyfolder's tweet about how this crashes the underground black market of Pink Mercy skins, while also being for a good cause. It's a win-win. There's also the Transformers collaboration, which hopefully should feature at least a Bastion skin, and the introduction of mythic weapon skins are cool as well, but the price tag is frankly unjustifiable. 30 to 50 quid is kind of insane for a weapon. The glass finally got removed, which makes the map way more dynamic, and I actually like the new map Runasapi. It feels like a mix of New Queen Street and Esperanza. I'll be making a push map guide soon, so be sure to stay tuned on that in the future. Another quick one, I like the Sim and Mei changes, and I'm grouping them together because they play in similar comps. They're both getting more playtime in the Faceit League, which is nice to see, and without being too overbearing. The Mei change increases our skill ceiling, which is nice to see, and the Sim change is pretty necessary to play Sim in those brawly comps. Here's where we get into the bad stuff. These patch notes aren't enough. Pharah needs enough, Mauga needs enough, and Sigma kinda needs enough. Pharah doesn't need much, but probably needs a reduction to a spam capability or to a horizontal mobility in exchange for a little more self-sustain. She's not great in ranked, but she's very powerful in team play. I think the reason for that though is that people don't know how to play the hero. The simple way to describe how powerful Pharah is that she has the spam of a Junkrat, the mobility of an Echo, and the dueling capability of a Tracer. She essentially has the best parts of different heroes combined into one. And that's not even talking about her pairing with Mauga. Mauga needs at least a short-term fix to his cardiac overdrive. Newer players won't remember this, but back in summer 2022, Jungle Queen was omega broken. She was played everywhere for 2 months straight, and the main reason being was because the shout was just extremely broken. It gave her teammates 100 HP instead of the 50, and the teammate duration was 5 seconds instead of 3. I can't help but think that Mauga has a similar, if not worse case, but with cardiac overdrive. To give some examples, we did see a glimpse of that Mauga Sombra meta a while ago, where Sombras would stack onto their Mauga and just farm EMP. Nowadays we're seeing an overdrive barrage combo. Pharah gets that 30% damage reduction, and she gets the insane lifesteal off a barrage, which does 1 billion damage. To me, the fix is simple, at least for the short term. Just nerf the overdrive applied to teammates. Now, this doesn't fix one of Malga's biggest issues in that it encourages tank farming to get the max possible lifesteal, but it's a start in the right direction. Sigma is also very strong, mainly because of his ability to mark angles, rotate effectively with his shield, and live through big bursts of damage up front. Honestly, I might do an entire video separate on Sigma because he never gets talked about in terms of design. It's always Lifeweaver or Malga or Orisa or Kiriko, but never Sigma. Barring skins, what is the new content this season? The content creator game mode is a gimmick, let's be real, and some of it is just rehashing old content that could be a workshop code. In fact, that actually got me thinking, why can't workshop makers use old abilities like Hanzo's Scatter Arrow or Orisa's Halt to make the workshop more fun? The upcoming Quick Play Hacked should really be a 6v6 kind of test. The devs could have zero intention of going to 6v6 due to whatever reason, maybe it's queue times, but they should still do a Quick Play Hacked because it gets people talking. It creates dialogue and it creates content. I could finally continue my Samito saga. With that being said, I'm not opposed to the new Quick Play Hacks. Pickable passives do sound interesting, and I am looking forward to trying it out. There's also the Soldier and Kiriko Hero Mastery, but I can't even pretend to be excited for that. To be blunt, the season just looks incredibly dry, and you might say, what else do I expect, you know? There's no new hero, of course the season's gonna be dry. But my counter argument to that is focus on hero reworks instead. In fairness, Season 9 did have a massive competitive rehaul, which obviously can't happen every season, but at least Season 7 had the Sombra rework and the Hog rework too. Who is asking for hero mastery missions? Just use that time to speed up the Reaper rework and to do more mini reworks. Think about all that time that was wasted on filler content like the hero gauntlets. What is the demand for that? Seriously. Now onto the ugly section, which is responding to comments I got on my TikTok. This one I like to call, don't you want Overwatch 1 back? Why are you complaining if you're getting it back? This was in reference to me saying that a lot of the new contents this season is just Overwatch 1 stuff, being Flashbang coming back, Pink Mercy coming back, and the content creator game mode featuring old Overwatch 1 abilities. First off, I don't even want old Overwatch 1 back. I think that's more of a general comment on other content creators. And secondly, the issue with reintroducing old content, even if it's for the better, is that it kinda shows that the devs don't stand on business.
Sorry, bro. Who the hell is this? I'm the type of nigga stand on business, nigga. One man arm and get 50, nigga. What you wanna do that? I stand on business, nigga. What you do? Hey,
like, why are we wasting time? More specifically, wasting months, if not years, just to do U-turns on changes that Jeff Kaplan's team had a better vision for. I'm all for experimenting, but if you're gonna waste a year to understand that Cascade was less fun than Flashbang, and if you're gonna try and market old content and old abilities as new content, I'm gonna have some issues. This comment is more so referring to Overwatch content creators being melodramatic about the new season, saying it's the worst every single time. However, at least in my case, that isn't the case. Season 10 was amazing, to be honest, probably the best season in the game's history. Venture was, and still is, a very well-designed hero who has a purpose in this meta without being over or undertuned. The balance was also great after the Orisa nerfs too. It essentially refined upon what Season 9 had done beforehand, and speaking of Season 9, that was a great season too. Better than most people expected. I just genuinely think that this season is joint worst alongside Season 5 in terms of quality and content. Don't get me wrong, it's gonna pick up in Season 12, but still, I want more hero reworks. And that's it for the video, to be honest. As always, let me know your thoughts down below, and a Season 11 tier list will come very soon, ideally Monday, and a video on how broken Pharah is will be coming out soon too, so be sure to drop a follow on my Twitch so you can be there live for my tier list. Until next time.